So let me just go through the 4 things. They call them moral landmarks, and instilling these things into your kids. And they're just guidelines, I guess, that we can take as fathers. Because it is, if you look at this as a responsibility and it's a begrudging thing, you're never going to help your child become their best, and you're never going to become your best. If you look at this as a privilege, I mean, can you imagine the privilege Jonathan Edwards feels by the lineage he created, the legacy he left behind, because he treated it as a privilege. He treated it as something to invest time and energy into. So number 1, he says, fathers should raise their children in fairness. And I'm not going to get into all things. I would definitely recommend you read the book, but it's interesting how we all like to be treated fair, don't we? And in the Bible, it talks about do not embitter your children against you. And being fair is a really important thing. I mean, it's funny. I remember little things back from my childhood. I kind of, I'm from a divorced family. I talked a little bit about that. But I can remember little things that happened along the way that I could look back on and blame. But I can also look at little things that I saw in there that were done right and that made an impact on me. I remember still to this day, and I don't know if the technique was right, but my mom would always have at Christmas the exact same amount of Christmas presents for each kid, right? Because she wanted, in fairness, didn't want to play favoritism, and she would spend enough time with each kid. So treat each kid. Number 2, raise their children with tenderness. Fathers should raise their children with tenderness. And I kind of go, number 3 is raise your children with firmness. And it goes both ways. And it's kind of a thing, I remember hearing Dean Fry, one of the leaders in life, he talked about once, he goes, you know what, your teenage daughter, your old 12-year-old daughter should still want to come up and sit on your lap and give you a hug. They should still feel close enough to you where you've loved them in tenderness, where there's still a soft side to their dad, where they can have those times. But in times when they were wrong, you led with firmness. You were firm in your convictions. You didn't just let them get away with anything. You actually held firm because, again, you're crafting that child's life there forward. So raise a child in firmness. Number 4, raise your children in Christ. Have a moral compass. Maybe you don't believe what we believe in that topic yet. Research that. I love what Tim says. Just know why you believe what you believe, because your kids are following that. And I encourage us all to dig deeper into that category, because I've seen houses where the children grow up and the parents didn't lead by example. So they spoke one thing about their faith and they lived another way, and the child now runs away from it because they didn't have a good example there. And I encourage us all, like Francis of Assisi said, preach Christ if we must use words. Right? I read the other day too, they said, preach wordless gospel. Right? Go out there and live the life. Be a moral compass. And for no other reason, you think about moral compass, what a compass does is it gives direction to your children's lives. You start to influence their lives in a positive way. You're the one that's teaching them and giving them the tools to use and moving them forward. And grab those teachable moments where you can apply these principles. But again, it all starts with us digging deep and grabbing this information for ourselves and really studying it and moving forward. And the time thing, I'll share the story because it's so indicative of our age, I guess, of the lack of information we have to give to our kids and the lack of time we have to give to our kids. And I'll share this quick story as I end here, because what's happened here by us learning these principles and being able to apply it and get time back with our kids, it's so much fun. We went down to Florida for 30 days this past winter and got to spend time with our kids. And I decided to take my 10-year-old, or going to be 11 soon, on a trip with me down to Atlanta. We drove to Atlanta, spoke, and drove down. So here me and my 11-year-old are riding in the truck all day together. I forget, it was 14 hours down. We created so many stories. Both tires blew up on the trailer holding the jet skis. Almost lost the jet skis off the back of it. Pulled off to change the tire. A Rottweiler comes running up, jumps on the side of the truck. So I told her, I'll distract him. You go change the tire. She didn't do it, right? She did it. But, so we found another way. We created all these stories that she'll remember forever that she got to spend with her dad. And we were just about there, and she said, Dad, I just want to say thank you for letting me come with you. She goes, so many of my friends never get time with their parents. And she goes, very insightful for a 10-year-old. She said, now I can see why so many kids have such a hard time, because their parents just don't have any time to invest into them. She goes, you're always talking to me and explaining things to me and helping me learn from everything we do and make a story out of it and make experiences, and you're able to teach me every step of the way. And she goes, most kids don't have that. She goes, I just wanted to thank you, Dad, for going out there and being able to do something where you could have the time to help me become a better young girl. So see you guys soon. Take care.